This film got an NC-17 rating, not once, not twice, 5 separate rounds with the MPAA. And the reason why is so stupid. Welcome to Copper Shock, where we are horror obsessed. My name is Tasha Wheelhouse, and today I'm going to be talking about some interesting things that I have learned or observed about the 2024 The First Omen. Way spoilers, by the way. I'm talking about it as though you've already seen it, because we're friends. We just thought, let's go talk about it. There's really only a handful of scenes in this film that I can think of that do have some rated R qualifiers. You've got a scene where a gentleman is severed in half by a car, and the actress doesn't see. She's holding the upper half of his torso until she looks down and realizes what's happened. During the birth of Damien, where they start cutting into her, I could not look at the screen. Done. Is it anxiety in here for anybody else, or is it just me? There is not a lot of actual gore in this film, but there is a lot of disturbing imagery. And the more I thought about this, I realized something. This film makes fantastic use of an old filmmaking technique that people may or may not be familiar with. It's called the Kuleshov Effect. This is a theory that's been studied by psychologists for well over 100 years. Lev Kuleshov had this theory that you can evoke emotions from your audience based on two different shots abutted against each other in a cut. Some of the things that he did for his examples is he had a shot of a man just staring at the camera, no expression, and then he would cross-cut to someone in a coffin, and then he'd cross-cut back to the man. Clearly he's feeling sadness, right? Contextually, he's looking at someone who's passed. Or another example is the man, same exact shot, in fact, of his face blankly staring into the camera. You cross-cut it with him looking at a bowl of hot soup, and then you cross-cut back to him and it's the same shot of him. Well, maybe you assume he's hungry. These are contextual things that psychologically the audience understands, and it's such a common practice in filmmaking today that you might not even really notice it until you look for it the next time you turn on a movie. This is also something that was well understood by director Alfred Hitchcock. In fact, I've got a pretty neat clip of him here talking about his take on it to explain the Kuleshov effect in his way.
Now, the third way is what one might call pure cinematics, the assembly of film, and how it can be changed to create a different idea. Now we have a close-up. Let me show what he sees. Let's assume he saw a woman holding a baby in her arms. Now we cut back to his reaction to what he sees, and he smiles. Now what is he as a character? He's a kindly man. He's sympathetic. Now, let's take the middle piece of film away, the woman with the child, but leave his two pieces of film as they were. Now we'll put in a piece of film of a girl in a bikini. He looks, girl in a bikini, he smiles. What is he now? The dirty old man.
So in understanding this concept of the Kuleshov effect, how does that apply to horror? How do we bring out anxiety? How do we bring out danger and pain? A fantastic scene is the one of the woman in the hospital who is giving birth. It's shown in the trailer as well, where she is sweating, she's strapped to the table, she's in extreme pain, but it then cross-cuts to a blank face of the doctor. It's unsettling because someone who is in that much pain right in front of them, you'd think you'd feel more compassion from his facial expressions, but it's pretty level. And not in a, this is an everyday thing, but discompassion is what I felt I saw in his face. Most of The First Omen has beautiful moments like this where the director Akasha Stevenson understood this concept and how she wanted to put together her shots. And that to me is what made it so masterful, is she knew distressing imagery isn't just blood. Distressing imagery isn't just seeing a head explode. Distressing imagery is emotionally evoking cross-cuts between a situation and someone's emotional reaction to the scenario as it builds. There's a specific shot I remember toward the beginning of the film that set the tone, which was of a woman's feet on the floor, like you could tell she was on a table of some kind. Her feet were flat on the floor, but the floor was covered in blood, and her toes started curling up and convulsing because she was in extreme pain. And off camera, you could hear this woman wailing, "Please stop, make it stop." And I'm going, oh dear, what film have I brought my husband to see for date night? Oh no. Nah, he was game. He was game. And at first we thought we had the whole movie theater to ourselves, but then I was a little disappointed. As soon as the credits started rolling, there were some people that rolled into the theater. And some people, they felt like it was a boring movie, but I liked it. I thought it was a beautiful film. Difficult to watch. I'd love to hear what you think about that. when director Arkasha Stevenson already knew that they were really big fans of Nell Tiger Free because of the TV series Servant. She said that Nell didn't even have to read for them, but Nell was very gracious and said, no, I'd love to. And they got on a Zoom call, and one of the two scenes that Nell did, one of them was the possession scene. Arkasha asked, do you want any notes? Do you need any direction? Is there anything that you'd like to see from me? And Nell said, no, I'll just try it. I'll just go. And Arkasha said that on this particular Zoom call of her reading this scene of the possession was so instinctual, and you could see something change in her eyes. She just had something switch. And Arkasha Stevenson was so moved by Nell's performance that she began to cry. And it was just that's it. She describes Nell Tiger Free as this fearless actress, that she's just willing to go for it. The shot that this scene is paired to that Nell Tiger Free did for her reading is a scene where right after she is hit by the car, she's one of the few people who is conscious to exit the car, and while she's a little delirious from being hit, it slowly switches into a mode where she is being completely overtaken demonically. And this is a very standout shot to me of the main actress, Nell Tiger Free, enacting a change of self, a straight 2-minute shot. And it was done that way exactly on purpose by the director because she felt that to cut away would cheapen it. Experiencing this descent into something horrific for this main character, that we should be seeing all of it. They had a one take for that thing, and that was it. They kept it. They didn't shoot anything else. That's amazing to have nailed on one shot. Here's the thing about one take wonders. Honestly, it's really hard to do. I have been an extra on set. I was 12, and I remember there was this one scene where the main character kid was walking up to the other main character kid in front of the elementary school, a 2-line, "Hey, I'll see you at home." And I had to walk from my mark to the other mark on front of this elementary school. They took that shot literally 32 times. So when I say that Arkasha Stevenson accepted a 2-minute straight shot of intense body work being portrayed about this possession scene and being we're good, whoa, that is amazing, because that takes so much faith in your actors to be yeah, we got it. Oh, it's a good shot. The point being, there are some really interesting things about this film. I know that there are attributes of it that are missing pieces that die-hard fans of the Omen franchise are missing out on, because I had some theories of why I thought Gregory Peck's son was still alive, but also at the same time, my theory is so predicated on the idea of the plot of this movie, The First Omen. I didn't realize until actually today when I was doing research, there are things about the premise of The First Omen that somewhat ignore the original trilogy. A piece of lore that everyone's been saying, oh man, if it weren't for this one thing, it'd be perfect. Devil Boy Damien, his mother is a jackal, and Daddy Dearest is Satan. Whereas The First Omen somewhat hijacks that theory of the jackal is the father in this scenario who's imbued by Satan. I guess I think that's the biggest gripe some of the fans have with this film, which I think is understandable. When it comes to this film, and my theory that Gregory Peck's son is still alive is because when he goes to the gravesite and he sees the baby that's buried there, I question if Bambino Scianna is actually Gregory Peck's son that had his skull crushed in, or if it was one of the other babies that was a prior Scianna baby and that his actual child maybe survived. That's my theory. Now we gotta talk about what the MPAA's beef was with this movie. Fascinating. As to what the MPAA got their hair in a twist over. Now, Arkasha Stevenson said that while she went 5 rounds with the MPAA over this NC-17 rating, they don't tell her what it is that is actually tripping this wire into being NC-17. Now, NC-17, for those of you who are not familiar with this movie rating because you never see it, you've got G, PG, PG-13, rated R, and then over here, you have NC-17. NC-17 stands for no children under 17. Ever. You have to show proof of age, the way you get carded to go into a bar. Otherwise, the theater, I think, can get fined or something. It's a big deal. Movie theaters aren't that motivated to even show NC-17 films. I could be wrong about that. Comment below if that's not accurate. And so the fact that The First Omen was given an NC-17 rating initially was super alarming for the studio, because rated R horror movies totally sell tickets. NC-17, no one's gonna go see it. Arkasha Stevenson, when this subject was brought up of being NC-17, was pretty perturbed. Hold on, I almost want to do a bit. We're gonna do some fun editing. We have production value here. Oh, I realize I have a problem. Yeah, what do you want to have in your movie? Well, hi, MPAA. Yes, I have a film that I would like to show. It's a body horror. It's got demons in it. Yeah, you could have that. That's fine. But there is SA. That could be rated R. What, like full frontal No, that's fine. The penis. Yep, no, that's good. Totally. A passing shot of the vagina while she's giving birth. What are you doing? Oh my god. No. I guess that means we're gonna have to cut the other shot where the hand is coming out of the vagina. Oh yeah, no, that's fine. What? And for all I know, you can cut all of that and I will just give a blank explanation. Because it wasn't exactly scripted. So Arkasha Stevenson figures out you could have really graphic scenes of someone being hurt. Bodies being split in half. The shot they did have a problem with was a totally normal shot of the process of birth. But the jackal hand is fine. What? Oh my gosh. I think that's stupid. And with that, there are definitely intentional things about this film that I found to love. It's still not something I'm going to be playing for Halloween every year, me personally, but I am very glad that I got to experience this movie. And I do think there were some very good intentional things placed in it that artistically really communicated well. I am so grateful that you guys are here with me. And I said it in my last video that we crossed 400 subscribers, but then boosh, you surprised me again, and now we're over 500. Oh my gosh, I love seeing you here, and I love you tuning into the channel to say hello and tell me your thoughts on the movie. I love having a community I can go and talk to about this stuff. Copper Shock has been a passion project of mine for a number of years. In fact, Copper Shock started as a horror podcast where I would narrate and tell scary stories of people's experiences and put it out there for the world to listen to. If you're curious, please check us out on any platform where you get your podcast. I would love to see you over there as well. I'm glad to have you here, and have a fantastic day. Bye.
Horror can be elevated just as much as any other genre. And in fact, I feel like kind of the path that's being paved is that horror is eventually going to become prestige cinema. Because there are some just out of this world performances that I think, we should be hearing about at the Oscars. Like Toni Collette in Hereditary. To me, that's an Oscar winning performance.